welcome to Be Good Farm. My name is Heather. I'm growing in Zone 8A in northern central Arkansas. And today I wanted to go over the varieties of vegetables that I'll be growing this year. Um, many of these are ones that have been growing for a few years now and are tried and true. And it's just the basics of what I grow for my family. Um, I have 6 kids and a husband, so there's 8 people in my family. I grow most of the vegetables that we eat for the year. We freeze and we can a lot of the produce that comes out of the garden, and we'll supplement a little bit during the winter months, but for the most part, we take care of most of our vegetables. I'm going to go through the kind of colder climate type of vegetables first, and then we'll go through the summer ones. So I absolutely love kale. I didn't grow up liking it. And when it was the big, superfood craze where, kale was at the top of the list, I didn't really like it, but I didn't know how to cook it. So now that I know how to cook it, which is on the stove with lots of butter and a little bit of salt, these are the varieties that I really like. So I have, this is a Siberian kale. Hopefully this is a rainbow kale, lacinato. I think that's how you say it. And dazzling blue, and a Toscana. So with my kale, there's a lot of other kales. I haven't grown a kale I didn't like. So we don't spray a lot unless there's a lot of pest pressure. I usually try and use other methods like pulling the worms off and just making sure I have really great healthy seedlings so that the plants when they get older can survive on their own with a little bit of pest pressure. I also plant about 10% more so I can share with the bugs. So if I have some loss, it's not that big of a deal. So bugs on our food, it's just a thing. But with the curly type of kale, it's really a pain in the bum to have to wash it and pick out all the little worms off of the curly leaves. I find that ones like this, like the Toscana, this is so much easier to clean, especially with the volume of kale that we eat. It's so much easier to clean a kale that has flatter leaves. So I love the other kale, but flat leaves is the way I go just for pure processing reasons. Okay, next one is my broccoli and my cauliflower. I've tried quite a few broccolis, but these are the 2 that I really like. They're both hybrids, so I wouldn't be able to save the seed, but that's okay. So this is the Emerald Crown. It works, it's just amazing. It's so good. And then Green Magic. So these, out of all the ones that I've tried, these are the only ones that I'm going to grow. And then for cauliflower, the ones that I like is this Durgaresh 41. And then self-blanching. And then this one, the Purple of Sicily, is the most beautiful plant I think I've ever gotten from the garden. It's just gorgeous, nice, huge heads, easy to grow. I find that the cauliflower don't get as many bugs on them as the broccoli does, but the hybrid broccoli for some reason didn't get as much bugs as the heirloom type broccoli. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to cabbage. I really love cabbage. I love growing it. This is Golden Acre. There's no pretty picture, so I don't know what I'm showing you. Red Acre. This is really great. Copenhagen Market. And then there's also this one, Glory of Enkhuizen. I have no idea how to say it, but it's huge. It's massive. This one takes a little bit longer to grow, but it's really cool. I haven't really found a cabbage I didn't like either, but these are the ones that have grown really well for me. Now, I love Brussels sprouts. I'm not going to show you those ones because I have not been able to grow them successfully. I'm going to try and grow them in the fall instead of the spring this year and see if that makes a difference. Now, going on to celery. This is the Utah Tall. I had really great success with celery last year. I was very happy with it, but then I got sick and then wasn't able to harvest it. So my goats got to eat it all. Very sad, but I was very happy that I was actually able to grow it. So carrots, I have not really found a great carrot that I liked, but I grew these last year and they did really well. This is the Danvers type of carrot. I just get this from the farm store in my local town. Um, really cheap, a whole bag for $1.50. So if you can get them from your local stores, from the bulk section, that's like the best place to go. And then the coral, that one grew really well, and the new Carota. And then I'm also trying out the Bolero this year. I think that one's a hybrid. But those are the carrots that I'll be doing this year. I have really good luck with carrots. I have clay soil, but I've amended it, and my carrots get really long and straight. So yeah, let's see. On to lettuce. Not all lettuce grows really well here, but the bronze mignonette, this one is really awesome. This one always comes up. Red romaine. I find that the romaine lettuce that I like to grow, the red type, is a little more heat tolerant, so I stick with that. The slow bolt does really well. This one is really, really good. The Paris Island and Merlot is always really good. And Rouge de Hiver, I don't know how to say it. So this is another red romaine. And then the next ones that I like, this one is just a salad bowl mix. Most mixes do well. And then the Marvel of Four Seasons. This one does really well too. Now for my herbs, what I like to grow, I don't have, I'm out of seeds for my oregano, but just regular Italian oregano. I grow that a lot, and I freeze dry it and keep it in the house. We use oregano all the time. If you haven't grown fresh herbs, start with that. They're really, really awesome. I do grow chamomile. It's really good for teas. It smells really good and it's really pretty. And then this one, okay, so I grow thyme, just regular thyme, and then I tried a lemon thyme, and it was amazing. It was so good. So if you can get your hands on lemon thyme, this one was from Southern Seeds, and I think MI Gardner has some of it, or they have the orange thyme, which I want to get as well. The mammoth dill, this one reseeds for me every year, so I'm always like in the spring in the walkways, it's popping up, so I kind of dig it out of the walkways and just put it into the actual beds. And then single leaf parsley, this grows well for me here. And this is perennialized for me, so it comes back year after year, which is great. And then basil, the only basil I really like is this Genovese basil. I do like the dark purple opal too. That one's pretty. But as far as cooking and taste, this is the winner. So all right, so those are kind of the cooler season crops, where I'm going to go on to the warmer season ones. So here I've got my tomatoes. I have not had good luck finding a good slicer tomato that I like. So if you have one that you really like, go ahead and comment below. I don't like the ones that get kind of cat-eyed, so they kind of squish in the middle. And so you only have like one or two really good slices for your sandwich. That drives me crazy. If I'm going to grow a slicer, I want a nice big round one that I can use most of the tomatoes. Those, when I've grown the slicers before, they just end up going in my paste tomatoes and for spaghetti sauce, which makes it taste really good, but I like to actually use them for eating. So cherry tomatoes, I've grown lots and lots and lots, and I've narrowed it down to just a couple. I have the yellow pear that my husband and my kids really like. This Chadwick cherry is a super performer for me. I really like that. And then the sweetie tomato. So those are my cherries. I am testing out a couple of the slicers. These are the ones I'm going to stick with this year. Is the Homestead tomato and the Moneymaker. And so as far as paste tomatoes, I have grown the indeterminate tomatoes before, but I like sticking with just the determinate. So indeterminate means it could get to be like 6-10 foot tall up, and you have to trellis it, and then it just keeps producing fruit for you throughout the entire season, and it doesn't really end. And I'm busy. I don't like to have tomatoes, just like a small trickle of tomatoes coming in all year, especially for canning. If it's just for fresh eating, that's great. But if it's for canning, I like to get like 1 or 2 really good big sessions in at once and be done with it for the year. Otherwise, I take my tomatoes and I just store them in bags and put them in the freezer until I have enough to actually make sauce with, and then I'll have a canning session. But I stick with determinate, so it's just easier for my own schedule. The ones that I like is the Martinez Roma and the Napoli. Both of these are really great. They're a little bit on the smaller side, which is fine with me, but they do produce a ton. I don't have to trellis them, but I do. And you don't have to prune them or anything, and they just produce a ton. And then now tomatillos. I like tomatillos. I make green verde sauce every year, mostly to put in with when I make beans, like red beans and rice. I've tried all the varieties I could get my hands on, and this is the one that I like the best, the Rio Grande Verde. This one just produces the best, largest fruit because you have to peel the paper off, so this is more time efficient. So they're all really good, but this one's easiest for me to grow. Cucumbers. This one is my absolute favorite slicer. This is the Beet Alpha. It's very smooth. It doesn't have the little prickles on it. It's very good, very tasty. The Muncher, this one's a really good one. The Marketmore, this one's another smooth slicer. And for pickling, I really like the Boston pickling. And for winter squash, I have some pumpkins that I really like. The two pumpkins that I like that actually store really well, as long as you wash them and kind of wash them with a little bit of bleach, you can store them inside for a long time. This is a sugar pie pumpkin and the winter luxury pumpkin. Both of those do really well. And then my favorite butternut squash is Canada crookneck squash. This one has been out of stock for a couple of years. Really annoying because I love it so much. It grew so well. It doesn't, the squash bugs don't get to this one as bad as regular butternut. It just grows and grows and grows. The weather doesn't seem to affect it as much as other type of butternut that I've grown. And powdery mildew doesn't seem, it gets powdery mildew, but it still produces. So I mean, if you're wanting just kind of one that'll crank it out and will do anything for you, this is the Canada crookneck. Try that one. And this year, I'm going to try out this North Georgia candy roaster. The description seemed like a cross between a sweet potato and a butternut. So I really want to try this one out too. For my peppers, I've grown a lot of peppers. And so these are the ones that are my absolute favorite. The Etuda. My kids like to just eat peppers. We mostly grow them just for snacking, and I'll store some and I'll cut up and store in the freezer and put in chilies and other recipes later. I'm trying out this bullnose. I haven't tried this one. I'm looking for a good bell type shaped pepper. And then this yellow monster is amazing. It's so good. It's huge. It produces, and the dry conditions, wet conditions doesn't seem to phase it. For our roasting pepper, this New Mexico Parker. This one's a really good one. If you can't find this one, the Edgevarsky is also really good. But I didn't want to grow 2 types this year, so I just settled on this one. I like growing jalapenos, but nobody in my family really likes them. But I like them when I make my salsa, so I've chosen this Tam jalapeno. Haven't tried this one. This one's supposed to be like half the spice. I know that there are the nadapenos. We've grown them before. I didn't really like them. I like something with a little bit of spice. So I'm going to try this one because regular jalapenos are just too much for me. And then a Golden Wonder bell pepper. These are the ones that grow well for me in my area. And just basic for yellow neck squash. This is the early prolific straight neck. And the zucchini, I'm just getting from the farm store. It's whatever they've got on hand is what grows well here, which is usually the Black Beauty is what they sell. And watermelon, I have grown a lot of different types of watermelon. the one that works well for me year after year is the Crimson Sweet. It does have seeds. You do have to spit them out, but not as much as other varieties. And instead of getting a lot, like a huge, enormous watermelon where you can only eat like a quarter of it at a time, you have to kind of save it in the fridge. My family can eat one of these for like when we sit down for breakfast or lunch or whatever. It's easier to eat a smaller whole watermelon than a ginormous one, so that's why I picked that one. I'm also trying this Wilson Sweet. Don't know how that one's going to go. The Canary Melon grows really well for me. We really like it. It's really sweet. And this Minnesota Midget Melon, I trellis this one and it's amazing. It's super good. I find that the smaller cantaloupe works better for me since it's not out in the field as long. The bugs seem to not know it's there. If you have a larger cantaloupe, the bugs, as soon as it's ripe, they just come in from underneath and they hollow it out. And you pick it up and you're like, okay, dang, I should have gotten this yesterday. But the midget melon, since it's trellis, the bugs don't get to it as bad, and it just seems to work a little bit better. I've grown this one not trellised, and I'm able to kind of get it and pick it before it gets ruined by the bugs. So for green beans, the one that I love the best is a bush bean. There are pole beans and there are bush beans. The one that I like best, this is Blue Lake. This is like 3 pounds. I found it at my farm store. They sell it in bulk, really cheap. This is the best. It has more slender pods, easy to pick. Yeah, just the best for canning. I think this one's my favorite. The other ones that I've tried that I still like are the Provider bush bean. When I can't get the Blue Lake, these are the ones that I order, and the Contender. Both of these are good, and they're both spineless if you pick them beforehand. Some green beans have spines, and I can't stand that. So, and then a couple of others is the Sugar Snap Peas. I like these. Again, these are from this farm store. And my favorite is the Mammoth Melting Pea. And I love leeks. I've grown these and they've done really well for me. I grow onions as well, but I haven't found a variety that is my favorite, so that's why I'm not linking any of these. But this American flag leek, these grow really, really well, and I like them in recipes. You just have to kind of wash them because there's tends to get dust like dirt in between those. So if you just cut the end off, pull it apart, wash it, it's really, really good. And then let's talk about a few flowers, the flowers that I grow. I like to grow nasturtium in my garden just for fun. They say that it's a trap plant. I haven't noticed anything, but I like pretty flowers. I've grown the Alaska mix. That one's grown really well for me. Marigold, the petite. This one is really great for kind of sticking. I put this one in between my tomatoes. Since I trellis them, I kind of put lots of marigolds in between them, just for a little bit of beauty, and the scent does seem to deter some hornworms. And then this is a taller type of marigold. This is what I grow in between my like cauliflower and cabbage and broccoli, since it gets a little bit taller. If I plant the shorter one with like my broccoli, the broccoli tends to kind of shade it out. This one is the same height as the rest of it, and you can still get some good blooms off of it. I'm trying this Bee Balm Lemon Mint. I'm excited for that because I like having ones that I can get tea off of. And this lemon mint, I like the lemony type of herbs. And then I'm trying this calendula pot marigold. I haven't really found a calendula that I liked, but this was a free seed, so I'm trying this out. And then also hollyhocks. Any type of hollyhock is really awesome. It's a perennial. I just put it on the borders of my garden, and it's just so beautiful. I love them so much. And that's what I am growing in my vegetable garden this year. Let me know what some of your favorites are. Make sure to like and subscribe if this has helped you out at all. Hope you guys have a good day. We'll see you later.